There's a certain kind of power that doesn't shout, doesn't explain, and doesn't demand to be seen. It's the power of silence. Most people overlook it, dismissing silence as weakness, a lack of confidence, or even cowardice. But what if I told you that silence is the sharpest weapon you could ever wield? A weapon that leaves no wounds, but devastates the psyche of those who try to challenge you. Think about it. The world thrives on noise, arguments, accusations, opinions flying left and right, social media, conversations, conflicts, all saturated with voices desperately clamoring to be heard. But when you remain silent, truly silent, you're not just withholding words, you're taking control. You're creating a void, one so unsettling, so deafening, that it forces others to confront the one thing they can't handle: themselves. It's in our nature to want to defend ourselves, to fight back when someone wrongs us or attacks us. That's the ego talking. The ego says, "Don't let them disrespect you." The ego whispers, "Show them you're better." But here's the harsh truth. The moment you engage, you're playing their game. You've handed over your power, your peace, your control. Silence, however, changes the rules entirely. It takes the fight out of their hands. They're left floundering, second-guessing themselves, and often spiraling into frustration or insecurity. They wanted a reaction, but instead you gave them nothing. That silence, that void. It's louder than any scream, sharper than any insult. The Stoics mastered this art thousands of years ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You always have the option of having no opinion. There is never a need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control." To the Stoics, silence wasn't passive. It was a decision, a declaration of inner strength. They knew that control over one's words was the ultimate expression of power. Because when you control your words, you control your mind. And when you control your mind, no one else can control you. But silence isn't just about avoiding arguments. It's about creating a presence so unshakable that others feel it even when you say nothing at all. It's about mastering yourself so completely that no insult, no provocation, and no external chaos can disturb your peace. That's the kind of power we're talking about today. The silence that doesn't just protect your inner calm, but dismantles the egos of those who dare to test you. Over the next several minutes, we'll explore the philosophy and psychology of silence in depth. We'll uncover why it's so effective, how you can apply it in your own life, and the profound impact it can have on those around you. By the end of this, you'll understand why silence is the ultimate act of strength and how it can transform the way you approach conflict, manipulation, and even everyday conversations. So, if you're ready to step into this power, let's begin. But first, take a moment to like this video and comment below. I am stronger in silence. Together, we're building a community grounded in wisdom, resilience, and unwavering self-control. Let's spread the philosophy of Stoicism far and wide. The philosophy of silence in Stoicism. Silence has always been a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. To the Stoics, silence wasn't just about the absence of words. It was about the presence of discipline. Words, after all, are like arrows. Once released, they can't be taken back. The Stoics understood that choosing when to speak and when to remain silent was an act of mastery, one that set them apart from the chaos of the world around them. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, often reflected on the power of silence in his private meditations. He wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." What he meant was simple. The things that provoke us only have power because we give them power. And one of the most effective ways to take that power back is through silence. When you choose silence, you're telling the world, "I control my response. You don't. You're refusing to let the outside world dictate your emotions or your actions. Epictetus, another great Stoic thinker, put it best when he said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." But there's another layer to this. Silence isn't just about what it does for you. It's also about what it does to others. Think about it. When someone lashes out at you, they expect a reaction. They feed off your defensiveness, your anger, your need to explain yourself. But when you meet their chaos with calm, when you offer nothing but silence, it unsettles them. It forces them to fill the void you've created. This isn't just philosophy. It's psychology. When you stay silent, the other person is left alone with their thoughts, their insecurities, their doubts. They begin to question themselves. Did I say the wrong thing? Are they judging me? Why aren't they responding? Your silence becomes a mirror, reflecting their own ego back at them. And here's the beauty of it. You don't need to win the argument because you've already won. Silence shifts the power dynamic in your favor. It shows that you value your peace more than their chaos. It shows that you don't need to explain, defend, or prove anything. But make no mistake, silence isn't easy. It takes strength to resist the urge to respond. It takes discipline to hold back when your ego wants to speak. And it takes wisdom to know when silence is the right choice. The Stoics practiced this discipline daily, reminding themselves that true power comes from within. As you reflect on this, take a moment to ask yourself, how often do I let my emotions dictate my responses? How often do I speak just to fill the silence? And what would happen if, instead, I embrace the power of restraint? If this resonates, comment below. Silence is my power. Let us know how you plan to practice this Stoic principle in your life. And don't forget to like this video. It helps us share this message with more people seeking wisdom and strength. The dark psychology of silence. Silence is not just a tool of inner discipline, it's a weapon, a psychological weapon that can disarm, confuse, and even unnerve the most confrontational people. You see, the human mind is deeply uncomfortable with uncertainty, and silence creates exactly that. It's an empty space that forces others to face their own thoughts, insecurities, and fears. This isn't just ancient philosophy, it's backed by modern psychology. Studies have shown that people are hardwired to fill silence. In conversations, we rush to fill the gaps, over-explaining or even revealing more than we intended, simply because the void of silence is so unbearable. And when you remain calm and silent, you've created a battlefield that only you control. But why is silence so devastating to the ego? Let's break it down. Silence forces reflection. When you respond to an attack with silence, the other person is left to wrestle with their own thoughts. They replay the situation over and over, questioning what they said, how they acted, and why you didn't respond. It's like holding up a mirror to their behavior, but instead of a clear reflection, they see uncertainty. In the realm of dark psychology, this is known as cognitive dissonance. When someone expects a reaction and doesn't get one, it creates a psychological discomfort that they have to resolve themselves. They may start to doubt their own words or feel unsettled by your calm demeanor. It's as if your silence is saying, "Your words don't deserve my attention." This is particularly powerful against manipulative or toxic people. These individuals thrive on control. They want to provoke you, to elicit a reaction that lets them feel superior. But when you refuse to play their game, when you meet their fire with cold silence, you strip them of that control. You force them to deal with their own insecurities, and often they crumble under the weight of their own ego. Silence is mysterious. Think about the last time someone didn't respond to you. Maybe you sent a message and got no reply, or you asked a question and were met with silence. How did it feel? Chances are it made you wonder, did I say something wrong? Are they upset? What are they thinking? Silence breeds curiosity, and in some cases, anxiety. When you stay silent, you become unpredictable. People can't read you, and that unnerves them. In dark psychology, this unpredictability is a key element of power. The less others know about your thoughts or intentions, the more control you have over the situation. This is why silence is so effective in confrontations. While the other person is desperately trying to interpret your lack of response, you remain in control. They're forced to fill the silence with their own assumptions, often exposing their insecurities in the process. Silence creates discomfort. There's a saying in negotiation tactics: the first one to speak loses. This is because silence creates a psychological tension that most people can't handle. In confrontations, the person who can stay silent the longest often emerges as the dominant force. When you stay silent, you're signaling that you're not rattled, not emotional, and not easily provoked. The other person, on the other hand, starts to feel the weight of the silence. They may become more aggressive, trying to elicit a reaction, or they may start to backpedal, unsure of how to proceed. Either way, the balance of power shifts in your favor. Silence as a mirror. One of the most profound effects of silence is its ability to reflect the other person's behavior back at them. When someone shouts at you and you remain calm, their anger seems exaggerated. When someone accuses you and you don't defend yourself, their words lose their sting. Your silence forces them to confront their own actions without the distraction of your response. This is particularly effective in personal relationships. If someone tries to guilt trip or manipulate you, responding with silence denies them the validation they seek. It shows that their tactics don't work on you, which can be both frustrating and humbling for them. Over time, this approach teaches others that you won't engage in toxic dynamics. Stories of silence in action. To truly understand the power of silence, let's look at a real-world example. Consider the story of a Stoic leader faced with a public insult. When someone hurled insults at him in the marketplace, instead of reacting, he simply stood there in silence. The onlookers expected a heated exchange, but instead they saw the insulter grow more and more agitated. The Stoic's silence was unshakable, and eventually the insulter walked away, defeated, not because of words, but because of the absence of them. Now, think about your own life. How often do you let someone pull you into an argument or provoke you into reacting? And what would happen if, instead, you chose silence? Imagine the shift in power, the way it would change the dynamic entirely. Before we move on to the next section, take a moment to reflect. How can you start using silence in your own life? Comment below with the phrase, "I control my silence, and my silence controls my power." Let us know how you plan to use this powerful tool to protect your peace and dismantle the egos of those who try to disturb it. And don't forget to like this video. Your engagement helps us spread this message to more people who need it. Strategies for using silence. Silence, as powerful as it is, doesn't just happen. It's a skill, a discipline that requires awareness, practice, and intentionality. The art of silence is not about retreating into yourself or avoiding confrontation. It's about mastering your responses, creating space for thought, and using your silence as a calculated tool. In this section, we'll break down actionable strategies to harness the power of silence in your life. Master the pause. One of the simplest yet most powerful ways to use silence is to master the pause. A well-timed pause can speak volumes, whether you're in a heated argument, a negotiation, or a sensitive conversation. Here's how it works. When someone says something provocative or demands a response, resist the urge to reply immediately. Take a breath. Count to 3. Let the silence hang in the air. This brief pause achieves 2 things. It gives you control over your emotions. By pausing, You give yourself a moment to process the situation rationally rather than reacting impulsively. It shifts the psychological balance. The other person begins to feel the weight of the silence, often rushing to fill it with additional words that might reveal their true intentions or weaken their position. For example, if someone accuses you of something unfairly, don't jump to defend yourself. Pause. Let the silence linger. More often than not, they'll try to justify themselves, revealing the weakness in their argument. Listen more, speak less. Silence isn't just about withholding words, it's about amplifying your awareness. When you speak less and listen more, you gain an incredible advantage. You learn, you observe, you pick up on nuances that others miss. In conversations, silence allows you to notice the tone and body language of the speaker, the gaps between what they say and what they mean. Opportunities to ask thoughtful questions that shift the focus back to them. Active listening, enhanced by intentional silence, can disarm people in any situation. They feel heard, which lowers their defenses, and at the same time, you remain in control because you're not revealing too much about yourself. Use silence to create boundaries. Silence is a powerful tool for setting boundaries, especially with toxic or manipulative people. When someone tries to provoke you, guilt trip you, or pull you into their drama, silence sends a clear message. I won't engage in this behavior. Here's how you can use silence to set boundaries. When someone raises their voice at you, respond with calm silence. If someone tries to manipulate you, resist the urge to explain or justify yourself. When a conversation becomes toxic, walk away in silence rather than escalating the situation. By refusing to engage, you're protecting your peace and reinforcing your standards without saying a word. Turn silence into mystery. Silence makes you unpredictable, and unpredictability is power. When people don't know what you're thinking, they're left to their own assumptions, which can often work in your favor. This is especially effective in situations where others are trying to gauge your position, intentions, or emotions. Practical applications of this include in negotiations. When the other side presents an offer, pause in silence. The discomfort will often lead them to make a better offer or reveal more than they intended. In arguments, when someone tries to provoke you, remain silent. They'll either backpedal or escalate, revealing their vulnerability. In relationships, silence. During moments of tension allows the other person to reflect on their behavior without the distraction of your words. Practice detachment through silence. One of the core principles of Stoicism is detachment, the ability to separate yourself emotionally from external events. Silence is a practical way to cultivate this detachment. When someone criticizes you, insults you, or tries to draw you into conflict, ask yourself, does this truly matter? Is this worth my peace? Most of the time, the answer is no. Choosing silence in these moments is an act of self-respect. It shows that you prioritize your inner calm over fleeting external drama. A great exercise for practicing detachment is this. Start small. The next time someone says something irritating, resist the urge to respond. Reflect on the situation later. Did their words actually affect you, or was it your reaction that gave them power? Gradually expand this practice to more significant situations, cultivating the ability to remain silent even in the face of serious provocation. Silence as a daily practice. Like any skill, mastering silence requires consistent practice. Incorporate moments of intentional silence into your daily routine to strengthen your discipline and build your inner calm. Here's how you can start. Morning reflection. Begin your day with a few minutes of silence. Use this time to set your intentions and prepare yourself mentally for the challenges ahead. Silent observation. During conversations or meetings, practice listening without rushing to speak. Pay attention to the dynamics and notice how silence shifts the energy in the room. Evening meditation. End your day with a moment of silence to reflect on how you handled situations that tested your patience and self-control. These practices will help you build the habit of silence, making it easier to apply in high-pressure situations. Now it's your turn to take control. Which of these strategies will you start practicing today? Comment below with the phrase, "I master my silence, and it masters my life." Share your insights and let us know how silence has transformed your perspective or your relationships. And if you're finding value in this message, don't forget to like this video. It helps spread this wisdom to others who need it. Let's build a community of silent strength together. When to break the silence. Silence is a powerful tool, but like any tool, it must be used with precision. While there are moments where silence is the ultimate response, there are also situations where breaking that silence is not only appropriate, but necessary. Knowing when to remain silent and when to speak is the mark of true wisdom. Silence, after all, is not about avoidance or indifference. It's about intentionality. In this section, we'll explore the moments when silence should give way to action, how to break silence effectively, and why choosing your words carefully is just as important as choosing to remain silent. When silence equals consent. Silence can be powerful, but it can also be misunderstood. In some situations, remaining silent might be interpreted as agreement or indifference, especially when faced with injustice or wrongdoing. For example, in personal relationships, if someone crosses a boundary and you remain silent, they may assume their behavior is acceptable. In societal issues, when faced with discrimination, abuse, or unethical actions, staying silent can perpetuate harm. The Stoics emphasized the importance of action guided by reason and justice. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Silence is valuable, but there are moments when speaking up is a moral duty. In these cases, breaking silence is not about engaging in conflict, but about standing for what is right. When clarity is needed. Sometimes silence can create unnecessary confusion. If your silence leads to misunderstandings or misinterpretations, it may be time to break it with clarity. Consider these scenarios. In relationships, if your silence is causing someone to feel ignored or dismissed, a few thoughtful words can prevent unnecessary conflict. In professional settings, if silence is misread as a lack of commitment or understanding, speaking up can demonstrate your engagement and resolve. Breaking silence doesn't mean abandoning self-control. The key is to speak with purpose and precision. Say only what needs to be said, and nothing more. When resolving conflict requires words. While silence can diffuse tension, there are times when speaking is necessary to resolve deeper issues. Silence alone may suppress the problem temporarily, but unresolved conflicts can fester over time. Here's how to break silence effectively in conflict resolution. Start with calm and clarity. Avoid emotional outbursts. Approach the situation with the intention of finding solutions, not winning arguments. Acknowledge the other person's perspective. Show that you've been listening, even during your silence. This builds trust and opens the door for meaningful dialogue. Speak with intention. Use your words to address the issue directly without resorting to blame or defensiveness. Silence is a starting point, but in the right moments, words can pave the way for healing and understanding. When leadership demands it. True leaders know the value of silence, but they also understand when to break it. In moments of uncertainty, confusion, or fear, people look to leaders for guidance. Remaining silent in these moments can create doubt or erode trust. Consider the following. In a crisis, silence can make people feel abandoned or unsupported. A calm, measured response reassures and inspires confidence. In decision-making, if you're leading a team, your silence might be interpreted as indecision. Breaking silence with clear, decisive communication can strengthen your authority and build trust. The Stoic approach to leadership emphasizes balance. Speak when it adds value and remain silent when it doesn't. When expressing gratitude or love, life isn't just about confronting challenges, it's also about nurturing connections. Silence can be a powerful tool in relationships, but it should never replace expressions of love, gratitude, or appreciation. Imagine how meaningful it is to hear words like, "I appreciate you," "Thank you for everything you've done," "I care about you." These words, though simple, have the power to strengthen bonds and bring people closer. Breaking silence to express positive emotions is never a sign of weakness. It's a reflection of strength and emotional intelligence. How to break silence effectively. Breaking silence doesn't mean abandoning the principles of restraint and intentionality. When you do choose to speak, follow these guidelines. Be concise. Say only what is necessary to convey your message. Avoid rambling or over-explaining. Be composed. Speak calmly and deliberately, even in emotionally charged situations. Be respectful. Choose words that reflect your values and uphold your dignity, regardless of the other person's behavior. By breaking silence thoughtfully, you maintain control over the situation and your emotions. Silence is a powerful ally, but knowing when to break it is just as important as knowing when to keep it. Have you ever faced a moment where breaking silence changed everything? Share your story in the comments below with the phrase, "I speak when it matters." Let's inspire one another with examples of intentional communication and thoughtful action. And if you're finding value in this content, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue spreading Stoic wisdom to those who need it most. The ultimate power of silence. Silence is not just the absence of words, it's the presence of discipline, strength, and control. When you choose silence, you're choosing mastery over chaos, peace over provocation, and wisdom over impulse. The ultimate power of silence lies in its ability to transform both you and those around you. It protects your peace, strengthens your relationships, and dismantles the egos of those who seek to undermine you. Let's revisit why silence is such a profound force and how it can shape your life in ways you never imagined. Silence as inner mastery. The first and most important aspect of silence is what it does for you. By practicing silence, you're training your mind to resist the urge to react impulsively. You're developing the ability to observe, reflect, and act with intention. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Silence is a direct path to this realization. When you remain silent in the face of provocation, you're proving to yourself that you are in control. You're not ruled by anger, fear, or insecurity. This kind of mastery isn't just empowering, it's transformative. Over time, you'll find that situations that used to provoke or upset you no longer have the same power. You'll approach life with a calm confidence that cannot be shaken. Silence as a source of power. Over others. The impact of your silence on others is equally profound. When you choose silence, you shift the power dynamic in any interaction. Instead of reacting to someone else's energy, you force them to respond to yours. Silence is especially powerful in confrontations. It communicates strength and self-control while exposing the insecurities of the other person. They wanted chaos, but you gave them calm. They wanted dominance, but you refuse to play their game. This psychological shift often leaves the other person unsettled. They may question their own actions, lose confidence, or even back down entirely. Your silence becomes a statement. I am not controlled by you. Silence as a path to clarity. In a world filled with noise, constant chatter, endless notifications, and unrelenting demands, silence is a rare and valuable refuge. It gives you the space to think clearly, to understand yourself, and to make better decisions. Many of the greatest thinkers in history, from the Stoics to modern philosophers, valued silence as a tool for reflection. In silence, you can ask yourself the important questions. What truly matters in this situation? What is within my control? And what isn't? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my values? Silence isn't just a reaction, it's a strategy. It allows you to act with purpose instead of being swept up in the noise of the moment. Silence as a practice of strength. Make no mistake, silence is not easy. It takes immense strength to resist the urge to defend yourself, to explain, or to argue. Your ego will scream for validation, for the satisfaction of having the last word. But true strength lies in resisting that urge. When you practice silence, you're telling your ego, I don't need to prove anything to anyone. I am enough. That kind of strength is rare, and it's what sets you apart. Each time you choose silence, you're building a mental and emotional resilience that will serve you in every aspect of your life. It's not just about winning arguments, it's about winning at life. Silence as a legacy. Finally, silence is about the legacy you leave behind. The words you don't say are just as important as the ones you do. By choosing silence in moments of conflict, you're creating a reputation for wisdom, composure, and strength. Think of the people you admire most. Chances are they aren't the loudest voices in the room. They're the ones who listen, observe, and speak only when it matters. They understand the power of silence, and they use it to their advantage. By embracing silence, you're joining their ranks. You're becoming a person who commands respect, not by shouting, but by embodying the quiet confidence that only true mastery can bring. As we come to the end of this journey, remember this: silence is not the absence of power, it's the essence of it. It protects you, empowers you, and disarms those who would try to undermine you. It's a statement, a strategy, and a source of strength all in one. So, the next time someone tries to provoke you or life throws chaos your way, take a deep breath, pause, and remember, your silence speaks louder than any words ever could. If this message resonates with you, let us know in the comments by writing, I choose silence, and silence chooses me. Share your thoughts and experiences. How has silence empowered you? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Stoic Blessing. Turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to grow stronger in wisdom and self-control. Together, we're building a community grounded in timeless principles of strength and resilience. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay strong, stay silent, and stay blessed.